Good afternoon. I'm here with Mark Melsness, who is the designated broker at Spinnaker Property Management. Nice to see you, Mark.
Good afternoon.
And how are you today?
I am stupendous.
I'm so glad to hear it. It's a good Wednesday, isn't it?
Awesome.
So there is a calculative way to figure out the value of a property investment, it sounds like. Mark and I have been chatting about that. And we even have fun graphics and illustrations for you today to show you. Mark's going to kind of walk you through a potential owner or even an existing owner of how you can be very specific about knowing the value of an investment property. So it seems funny to me that all investors don't look at it this way, but Mark is informing me and educating me today that many investors that have been in this business a long time and brand new ones don't take the time to run these kind of numbers when they invest. And Mark has deep expertise here. So this is something that you would offer to someone that was already working with you or to someone that is thinking about working with you. So
yes.
So both.
At no cost.
Which is super.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is and I know we're always kind of looking for ways for people to get to know how you work before they officially engage you for, entrust their properties to you. So this is an example, right? Mm-hmm. So Mark, I'm just going to let you kind of take it away and explain. So I'm an owner that's come to you. I'm considering a few different properties. I'm trying to figure out which one is the best investment. And this is what you would walk me through.
Yeah.
So why don't you go ahead?
So just to preset the conversation is that as you are working with your real estate agent or yourself and you're like wondering, how do I determine the potential value of the asset that I'm considering to buy?
Right.
So we'll work with you right away you just send us the address via email, and then we'll be able to do an analysis of what the potential return could be and its value. So it costs nothing, and all it is the relationship is starting there, and we get to do this with you and right alongside you before your offer is presented to the buyer.
So I'm feeding you this information and you're putting it through sort of...
Exactly. So you don't waste time on one property that won't return, and you're focusing the time on the ones that will.
And based on market expertise or just the way this math always works out? Is it kind of a combo?
Well, it's definitely market expertise. It's our knowledge of what the potential rental could be, like that type in that location in this market. Then we bring the actual rental value. The math is pretty basic, but it has a process that gets us there, especially with a good rental rate.
Got you. And so the rates are determined by the market, so you're calculating that into this.
Absolutely. That's the key that we get to bring along with the other information.
Got you. I hear you. Okay. So go ahead. So what would be the first thing you would look at?
Okay, so if we want to just take a look at the board up here, I took the time to just put a fictitious opportunity together. And in this particular case, we could just consider that the purchase price would be $300,000. If it's a non-owner occupied investment, typically they'll require you to put 25% down, leaving the loan amount at $325,000.
Got it.
So we're working with $75,000 cash, and we have a note of $325,000.
Got it.
If the potential rental income is around $22.75 a month, and our operating costs, which are broke down here, principal and interest, looks what happened last set.
That's all right.
Taxes, insurance, maintenance, and our management services comes in at about $1,816 a month. The $22.75 less the $1,860 is approximately about $459.
We wish $459,000
right, monthly. On an annual basis, it's about $5,500. Now we take this $5,500 and we divide that into our $75,000, the cash, and that gives us the 7.34% return on investment, cash on cash. So 7.34% is a good number. It's not the best in today's market, but it is a good number, especially in the single family realm when you're competing with other buyers that are looking for it as their family home. Because they might be willing to pay more than the $300 just because it works for their family, where as an investor, you have a discipline limit of a return on value, which is important to have.
Well, and you have your eye on your overall portfolio as well. So you might be willing to go high on one and low on another to balance it out or whatever.
Depending on the potential value.
Right.
But roughly, this is something that we can put together for you in just a matter of hours after your request. And if it's down below 7%, like below 5%, our recommendation would be to pass. Because there's risk here. And sure, the money could sit in the bank for much less interest with no risk. And you could be patient and find another opportunity where the risk would be worth the reward.
Right.
So, below 5%, our current standing is pass.
Based on today's market values and opportunities. And in 6 months, that might shift.
It very well could. Mm-hmm. I don't expect it until the next 12 months. If it's between the 5.1 and the 8%, that's a really good opportunity to consider, depending on the other ones that are on the table, and probably encourage you to take action on that one. If it's 8.1% and up, if you don't buy it, I will.
Got you.
So the great thing about this is that whether you're working with a real estate agent or you're doing it yourself, all it takes is just a phone call and an email, and we can help you walk through this point before you even make the offer. And then if it's something you want to make an offer on, then we'll schedule an appointment to meet with you and tour the home so that we get a better understanding of any potential pitfalls like maintenance or neighborhood challenges that might reduce or increase this potential rent.
Got you. So one of the things you mentioned last time was that having this information in a clearly defined format can help with a lender conversation. So that struck my interest. So what you're saying is that you're walking in there sort of hoping it profits or knowing for sure in the current market this is what it will probably perform at, right?
Absolutely.
So very different conversations, and I think a different confidence level when you're trying to get money out of someone that may not know you well, or maybe you're new out of state or whatever. So I loved that. So is this actually a formal document that a lender would be used to seeing? Would you walk in there with a spreadsheet or a...
No, on a single family house, this could be about as complicated or basic as it gets.
Right.
The bigger the asset, the more that comes into play. However, what works is that we are a third party, non-interested in the
That's what it was.
To it.
That's
right?
what it was.
So
right.
we can give you, the buyer, the confidence of a third party, non-biased opinion,
because you may end up managing this or not.
Correct.
You're just you're along as almost like a consultant with an interest in the long-term relationship with the buyer, but not one that's active right now, and you're really just trying to provide a service.
Absolutely.
Right.
And we're going to be conservative on this number, the income, and we're going to be liberal on these numbers, the expenses, so that if there is an adjustment that we weren't prepared for, at least we've got some insulation there. And then again, as you talked about before, when you are coming to your lender on an investment property, non-owner occupied, their comfortability level is so elevated, knowing that you're partnering with somebody that's impartial and is professional in the industry.
Well,
it doesn't
and
always
does
make
this
the difference, but it really does help.
Sure, and does this every day. I mean, you're looking at the market. I mean, I'm begging the question.
I don't do it every day. I have Saturday and Sunday off.
Okay, but so one of my questions too is, because I don't do what you do, is this the information you're getting about the market, is that in the form of magazines and books and newspapers you read, or is that subjective because you have buddies in the business and your guys are talking all the time, or is that a combination of both? I mean, I guess what I'm asking is, from what authority do you present what you're saying here?
Yes, and more. We use information out in the world on the internet that gives us that data. We are partners with association in our industries that give us knowledge and information about the trend of the market.
Right.
What we also really have is real-time active properties in that area that we've either just leased or are actively leasing now.
Yeah, so you really do collect rent around $2,200 for $300,000 investment properties.
Sure.
And you see how that works or doesn't work or whatever.
Yeah. And even more. This is again conservative and liberal. So in the world of an example, and this number is not uncommon, even for Pierce County.
And the bottom numbers are liberal because you want to make sure that if you end up spending more than what's there, that your owner's covered in their investment. Yeah, got you. Very good. Well, super clear to me. And so is this what you would call a pro forma to really show my lack of knowledge here?
It's a basic pro forma, yes. And it works really well for the single family, onesie, twosie type deal. And it can get grown in complication depending on the size of the asset.
Sure. Well, maybe next time we can look at multifamily units and investment.
With that. But okay.
Does it get boring? More boring and more numbers?
I'm teasing. It's greater. It's funner. It's bigger numbers, more zeros.
Well, it's fun that I get to play your audience too because I'm learning this, so I can think of the questions that they might be asking as you're confusing them or not. I'm not sure. But anyway, thank you, Mark, for your time today and your expertise, and I hope this has been helpful. I think it has been. I know we have both existing investors, existing customers with Spinnaker, and also brand new people just kind of checking Spinnaker out in our Facebook audience. So I would think that this would be relevant for most of those people. So thanks again, and have a great afternoon.
Have a great day.
Talk to you soon.